You know that feeling as the year starts to wind down? The days get shorter, it gets colder, and all of a sudden your motivation just dips. Those big goals you had? Yeah, they feel like a problem for next year. Well, today, we're diving into a viral trend that's all about flipping that script. It's called the Winter Arc Challenge. First things first, let's talk about something I think we all know a little too well. The annual winter slump. It's that end-of-year drag, right? That temptation to just go into full hibernation mode until January 1st. And honestly, this feeling is exactly why the winter arc trend totally blew up. I mean, it's the classic question, isn't it? We all start the year with these huge ambitions, but so often they just fizzle out by February. So what's the deal? Well, what if the problem isn't the resolution itself, but the fact that we're trying to start from a dead stop? And that's the heart of the issue right there. The winter slump is that time when we all kind of collectively agree to hit pause on our goals. We trade progress for comfort, promising ourselves we'll get back to it when the calendar flips. But this trend asks a really simple question. What if we use this time to build momentum instead? And that brings us to the solution, the winter arc. You can think of it as a kind of anti-New Year's resolution. Instead of waiting around for a fresh start, the whole idea is to finish the year strong, to build momentum when everyone else is slowing down. So what is it exactly? Well, the winter arc is basically a 90-day self-improvement sprint, usually running from October through December. The whole point is to build those healthy habits before the new year even starts. So you're not just starting with resolutions, you're starting with actual results already in the bag. And the way this thing took off was, honestly, explosive. It all started with a single TikTok from an influencer named Carly Burgess. That video got over 4 million views. And from there, the hashtag winter arc just went viral, turning what was her personal project into this massive global movement. This quote from Carly Burgess just perfectly captures the whole vibe of the challenge. It's not just about, ticking boxes on a to-do list. It's about transformation. The idea is to walk into the new year already an upgraded version of yourself. So how do you actually do it? Well, the great thing is this isn't some super rigid, complicated program. Its real power is in its simple, customizable framework. So let's look at the science behind it and the steps for building your very own arc. And get this, that 90-day time frame isn't just a random number. There's actually some real science to it. Studies have shown that it takes, on average, about 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. So the winter arc gives you that full 66 days, plus a little extra buffer to really make those new routines stick. And here's the blueprint. It's actually surprisingly simple. First, you just pick your start and end dates. Then you choose just 3 to 5 core habits you really want to focus on. Nothing crazy. The key is to make your goals measurable. Then track them. But honestly, the most important part, aim for consistency, not perfection. If you miss a day, who cares? Just get right back on it tomorrow. And what's so cool about this simple blueprint is how adaptable it is. This isn't just for fitness goals. The same exact framework is being used in 2 totally different worlds. You've got wellness, and then you've got intense academic grinding. So check this out. On the left, you've got a pretty standard wellness arc, habits focused on physical and mental health. But then look at the right. This is a study arc, which has been adopted by students preparing for these hyper-competitive entrance exams. It's the same framework, just a completely different battlefield. This just shows you how far people can take this concept. On a Reddit forum for students in India, they've completely gamified the whole thing. Participants start at novice flurry and literally level up by hitting these incredibly intense study targets. It's a pretty fascinating way to turn a serious academic grind into a structured, motivational challenge. Okay, but with any intense self-improvement trend, especially one that goes this viral, we have to talk about the fine print. It's not all just about hustling and leveling up. We really need to talk about the potential risks. And that's the big question we have to ask, right? When you're pushing for rapid change over a fixed 90-day period, is it possible to push yourself too hard, too fast? Well, experts say yes, and it's really important to know the signs. Dr. Karen Mann, who's a medical director at Noom, points out 3 huge risks. First, jumping into a really intense exercise routine can lead to overuse injuries, like stress fractures. No good. Second, trying to change too many things at once can just lead to total burnout.
And finally, adopting extreme crash diets can be really bad for your long-term health. The advice is super clear. Start slow and actually listen to your body.
There's also a cultural critique to think about here. Some people have pointed out that the trend can get co-opted by online subcultures that, well, they kind of glorify misery as the only path to self-improvement. It's a crucial reminder that true self-development is about sustainable well-being, not self-punishment. So with all of that in mind, what's the real takeaway here? What's the core principle that makes the winter arc so effective when it's done right? What makes for a good character arc? Ultimately, this isn't about some magical 90-day fix. It's really about using a structured period of time to build the small, daily habits that are going to create lasting change. It's better to think of the arc as the training ground, not the final destination. And this quote, which is from that same student forum, just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. Real meaningful success doesn't come from these dramatic, overnight transformations. It comes from the small things you do consistently, day in and day out. So, as we head into these last few months of the year, it's a good question to ask yourself. And it doesn't have to be some massive overhaul, right? It could be one small, consistent change. So, what's one habit you could start building now that the future you will be really, really grateful for?